spacesuit opens with the Enterprise capability showing a place no Earthship should be, and it's broadcasting in Morse code. Thank you. We're reading it. Yeah, geez, what do you think you are, the comm officer or something? You spotted it. Definitely an Earthship, a very old one. Much older. EY 100 class people.
So despite what I said earlier about going to bed at like 2, I'm finally going to bed right now. See. The bed's made. Oh, fuck. That might have been all zoomed in on my face. I'm sorry, that was an accident. But see, the bed's made. Yay, bedtime. Love you, Elizabeth.
No, really, go check it out. There's nothing about eugenics, just turtles. And if you can't trust Wikipedia, you gotta discount most college essays. So they decided to get a historical expert.
So, I'm going to bed soon. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Today, technically, the 24th is Thanksgiving. My mother's making a simple dinner. I talked about this: turkey, mashed potatoes, sausage stuffing, peas, that kind of shit. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. Simplified, faster, easier, better.
There's a bit of a complication, but they get him out Kirk style. I don't know if he's done yet. Poke him with a toothpick and stick it back in for another 5 minutes. You don't want to close him in the middle. Joe, you woke up forever. Is it out yet? He's brought over to sick bay where McCoy pulls out all the stops. Calls the janitor for a special consultation. Yeah, perhaps a little bucket spray can bring him out of it. Meanwhile, Kirk and Spock are interested in what he and the other 72 people might say that shed some light on this time.
A group of people reading back to the 1990s, discovering some importance, Mr. Spock. There are a great many unanswered questions about those years.
Strange and violent period in your history.
Oh,
Your Earth was on the verge of a dark ages. Oh man, it was rough. Icky hard to rush Limbaugh, Karen top the Macarena. I understand Paramount tried to start their own TV network. Kirk comes to check him out. Bones said he seems like one of the genetic supermen. He also took a moment to chew out MacGyver, or MacGyver, as he switched back and forth on her name. Well, she was a bit useless during the mission because she got all duped over Khan. Considering that we've never seen her before today, you can probably guess where that's going. But Kirk's willing to give her another chance.
good. If I can have honesty, it's easier to overlook mistakes.
Jim, I drink because I'm afraid to kill myself quickly. Back to work, Bones. Well, Khan soon wakes up and does the calisthenics of the genetically superior. I've got the DVD. He also spies a scalpel.
I'll either choke me or cut my throat. Make up your mind.
Oh, Bones, pretend you have a death wish. You're such a stitch.
Be most effective if you would cut the carotid artery just under the left knee.
That's our Bones. When Khan backs down, McCoy just nonchalantly explains the situation to him. He calls Kirk down to discuss things with him and try to find out what his name is.
Khan. Khan, nothing else. Khan.
James Khan. So Kirk shows Khan how to use the library access to pass the time. And there's always the unicorn horn to play with if he gets bored. He then talks to Spock about it and provides more backstory.
In 1993, a group of these young supermen did seize power simultaneously in over 40 nations.
This was a really brilliant plan. If you didn't hear it, the Augments are the ones who invented Doom, and they slipped in and took over while no one noticed because all the computers in the world went down when they tried to play it on the network with their friends. MacGyver has a brief run-in with Khan again, where he feels her up a bit before she scurries away. This is television, of course, where that kind of thing makes a woman fall in love with him, rather than getting kneed right in the millions. He shows up again in her quarters later, getting all touchy and in her face, and her apparently quite pleased at the charms of this humble Latin boy from northern India. After that, Kirk throws a special banquet, so they get all gussied up, even putting on the special celebratory Dungeons and Dragons corsages. Spock takes the opportunity to ask questions of Khan to see if he'll give himself away, but Khan is very careful. While there's no disguising his massive ego, he does manage to avoid any overt traps for a while. However, a little bit too much liquid tidy bowl starts to get to him, and he slips up, choosing to get up at lead before Kirk gets the chance to undo his corsage and roll 64 a whoop-ass. MacGyver shows up in Khan's quarters, and thus begins what looks like the first act of a Lifetime movie. First, when she does not immediately reciprocate his gestures, he throws her aside, then makes her ask for permission to be able to stay in his presence. And when she finally capitulates, he forces her down on her knees before him. After this physical humiliation and agonizingly squeezing her hand, he tosses her aside when she refuses to help him take over the ship. And then, finally simpering, she agrees, just not to be thrown from his sight. Man, even I find this insensitive, and I think porn should be officially added to the food pyramid. Anyway, they are finally tracked him down. Khan Noonien Singh, ruler of much of Asia from 1992 until 1996. Oh yeah, I remember that from the presidential campaign. Bob Dole doesn't like that Khan fella. They all admit a kind of admiration for the man as well, which would have gone over a lot better if this hadn't been the scene right after painfully forcing MacGyver's down to blowjob level. Kirk heads down to confront him again, but Khan is really condescending, so Kirk finally leaves. With him gone, Khan yanks open the locked door with his bare hands, disarms the guard, and heads to the transporter room where MacGyver's is holding a gun on the transporter chief. Khan then delivers the Superman equivalent of a Vulcan nerve pinch, the double neck prod. So Khan leaps over and awakens everyone, giving the men their jumpsuits, but leaving the ladies to their fishing nets. Security finally gets around to telling the bridge that Khan has escaped, but by then he's already taken over engineering and locked out the bridge, and he's removing all the air unless Kirk capitulates. Kirk desperately tries overriding him using the, whatever the hell that is, but he can't do it because I think that his blinking lights are fixed, whereas Khan's can move. This then leads to a scene that never made any sense to me. Kirk dictates a log entry. His bridge crew collapsed around him, and Kirk recommends commendations awarded to 5 of the bridge crew by name. But the camera lovingly shows us 7 people there besides him. What happened during the commercial? As for Lieutenant Myers, he cried like a baby at his coming death and then soiled himself. Recommend he posthumously receive the Hoshisato Kaori Chicken Medal with blusters. So Khan tries to persuade the crew to follow him voluntarily, but when they refuse, he puts Kirk in a medical decompression chamber and is slowly killing him. Only if they join him will he be spared. Everyone refuses, and Uhura gets roughed up by one of the Supermen for good measure, because there hasn't been enough mistreatment of women yet this episode. Then Spock is brought in to go in after Kirk dies. Meanwhile, MacGyver's is snuck in there, knocked out the guard, and freed Kirk. She pleads with him not to kill Khan as he scoops up a phaser with a stun setting, and then instead chooses to try to out-grapple a man stronger than a Vulcan, because, smart or no, it's got to be pretty emasculating to wind up going from one death trap to the next, and then ultimately be rescued by the ship's historian. Spock nerve pitches the guy out, and they head out to gas the ship to try to take them all out. Khan rushes out when the various mid-parters play Find Your Mark Before You Pass Out. Kirk discovers constant engineering, so he rushes in, but is quickly disarmed. Khan then crushes the gun, since the last thing you want if you're the only person left on your side is a weapon. He sets up an overload, so that means the episode's got to end in classic Kirk idiom, fist fight. Khan and Kirk battle heroically, while meanwhile, in an identical group, 2 men dressed the same also have a fight. Problem with 40 years of television enhancement, what you could get away with on a grainy small screen becomes rather obvious on a large digital one, especially when presented in loving 1080p. Faced with the impending destruction of the Enterprise, Kirk then beats Khan with a caulking gun, ensuring he's both unconscious and thoroughly protected against snow, rain, and hail. Kirk rushes over and toggles the buttons until the red light goes out, so I guess everything's okay now. So Kirk holds a hearing at which he drops all charges, and then announces his exile in Khan to SETI Alpha 5, a harsh jungle-filled world. But Khan sees it as a challenge and is quite pleased. Kirk gives MacGyver's the choice of either facing court-martial or spending the rest of her life with Khan Noonien Pex. And apparently that's good enough for her.
It would be interesting, Captain, to return to that world in 100 years. Learn